Well, I have to say, what an enormous pleasure it is to welcome Kiran Shah, MBE, to the Gerry Anderson Podcast.
Thank you. No, it's my pleasure to be over here talking to you.
Thank you so much. Such a wide, varied, and may I say, long career.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel the award this year, the MBE, was the cherry on the cake?
Yeah, that's how we can put it.
Yeah.
But that was a cherry on the cake. It was something that I didn't expect, and it came out of the blue.
Right.
Like, wow, this is great.
What was the first you knew about it?
When I got the letter.
The letter.
Basically, when I got the letter, I got no idea who put my name up or whatever. And I still don't know because they won't tell me about it. It's like, no, we can't tell you who put your name up.
I see.
And all that,
Extraordinary. So you had your day at the Palace, I guess?
Not yet. It's going to be on November 12th.
Is it?
Yeah.
Amazing. That's going to be incredible. Well, I'm sure you'll be posting... I think it's your nephew does your social media and so on, is that right?
All my social media, he does that.
Well, I'm sure there'll be lots of pictures of the day when it comes. Brilliant. Well, we're here not only to talk about your life and career and your times, but we have to give a little mention to Space Precinct. Mm-hmm. Gerry Anderson production, 1994, 95?
94, 95. Yeah, that was... it was really funny. I get a call from the Pacific, the people who are making the prosthetics and all that. And they were like going, we'll need you, Kiran, on this one episode. And would you be interested in coming in and doing it?
Yeah.
And it started from there.
Yes, and you ended up, I think, doing three episodes?
3 episodes.
Which would have been sort of 6 or 8 weeks, I guess.
Yeah. Not together, it looked like sporadic. Spread out a little bit.
Yeah, at Pinewood Studios, of course, which must feel to you like a second home.
It is a second home. I started working, my first movie was there.
Wow.
I'm fond of working at Pinewood.
Yeah. So you're in a strange situation in a way, because perhaps it's fair to say people may not know your face, but they would almost certainly have seen you in their favourite movies over the years.
Over the years they have, and when they realised it, and they went,
yes.
Oh my God, we didn't know that you were in that.
Absolutely.
And it was like, you've done that, and you've done that. And so, it's like,
Extraordinary. So I think you've been in most of the Star Wars films.
Yep.
You play children in Titanic, is that right?
Yeah, well, played in a sense that I ended up doing a lot of stunts.
Yes.
Basically, remember when in the lifeboat with the girl with the main actor? Yeah. So when they did the close-up of the girl and they went, leave her alone now.
Yeah.
Kiran, can you get in there and go? The
Amazing.
rest of the stuff was that. Or with the boy, that Leonardo had to pick up.
Yeah.
And then the father comes and grabs the boy.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah, and I ended up being in bed and getting hit by the water, still being held by the father really tight.
Wow.
And I did about 4 or 5 takes of that.
Wow.
And then Simon Kiran went, right, Kiran,
okay.
you can't take this anymore.
Yeah.
So we are going to put the dummy now.
Wow. And is it true you can't swim?
I can't swim. Give me your wetsuit and I'm happy. Because I know that with the wetsuit, I will always float up. Whatever happens, I will float up.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So at the very beginning of our interviews, we like to play a little game with our guests. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show you...
I didn't.
I know.
Right.
I'm going to show you very, very quick clips from the opening credits of every one of Gerry Anderson's series. And there are 18 of them from the 1950s through to the early 2000s.
Exactly, yeah.
And we just play a little game with our guests just to see how many they recognise. Now, it's not a competition. You'll see it on the front here. We've had previous guests. Some have got 1, none. Some have got all 18. Just a bit of fun. So 1950s here.
No.
Before both of our time, I think.
Yeah.
Still black and white for the second one.
Yeah. No.
It's about now that some people start to recognise one or two. So we'll see how you go.
For action.
Into colour.
Seen that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Stingray.
Stingray.
Good.
Seen quite a lot of Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds, of course.
Yeah, quite
Good.
a lot.
Very quick one there.
I think I've seen that. I can't remember what.
Yeah. There are just so many of them.
Yeah.
And now we're into his live action series.
Yeah, the space something.
Coming up,
Seen that.
Space 1999,
Yeah.
that one, which I
Yeah,
think you
I've seen
recognised. That's your Space Precinct.
Yeah.
Place of legend.
Yeah.
Fabled right across the universe.
And finally, there we go, that's new Captain Scarlet. There we are, that's
Yeah.
all of them.
Go. I think I scored about 3 or 4.
I'm going to give you 4, Kiran.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you 4. Certainly you recognise Stingray and Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Space Precinct, I think, was in there. And also Space 1999.
99, because
That's
I'm
right.
quite fond of
yeah.
Space 99.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So there we
And I
go.
wanted to work on it.
Didn't we all? There's your 4, look. And there you are as a little Thunderbird doll. So that'll go on the
Thank
side of the table. So let's go back then if we can. So you were born in Kenya.
Yeah.
What was life like for you as a child?
So I live a really happy life.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, my mom and dad never let me feel that I was different.
Uh-huh.
They went, you're like anybody else.
Yeah.
Might be a little bit smaller,
Yeah.
but you're like everybody else. So
Yeah.
they kept me calm and let me do and give they gave me quite a lot of independence.
Fantastic.
yeah.
That's a great attitude to have,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you think without that early encouragement, perhaps you wouldn't have had the career that you ended up with? Or is that overstating it, do you think?
Might be overstating it, but I would reckon that because they gave me that encouragement.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that I used to watch quite a lot of Bollywood movies. And then Saturday morning, English movies, premieres, American or English, with my friend, a guy called Pankaj.
Uh-huh.
He was my cousin as well, in Kenya.
Yeah.
And when I started watching all these movies and all that, and I went, I want to be like that.
Really?
And but what happened was, suddenly I found out that I can mimic people, their walks, their mannerisms. I can make it bigger
Yeah.
and funnier.
Yeah.
So I used to do that and make people laugh on the streets.
Interesting.
Taking off my uncles.
I can imagine.
And when they found out,
Yeah.
and I thought, okay, I'll be in trouble, but I wasn't. They went, okay, do me now.
Amazing. So you found your audience at a young
I
age,
found
then, really?
my audience at a young age.
Did you really believe that you could make that leap to being a professional performer?
In Kenya, it was a dream. And there was no industry as such.
I see.
In Kenya, there was a little bit of Kenyan TV there, but nothing much.
Right.
Then I ended up in India in '69. Me and my mom and dad were going to, stay there permanently. Went there, and I found out that one of my uncle had a general store in a little area in Bombay called Juhu,
Right.
where all these people were living, the directors, the Indian actors and
I
all
see.
that. And they used to deliver the groceries and all that stuff and alcohol under the table. At that
course.
time,
Yeah.
alcohol was, Bombay was dry.
Really?
People were not meant to, but
But they did.
they used to supply
They
that.
found ways, yes.
Exactly. And I asked my uncle, when you make the rounds, can I, go with them? And my uncle went, yeah.
I see.
And I started meeting people there, Dharmendra, Emma Malini, few other actors.
Right.
And I met your director there, and one day he went, maybe I've got a movie for you. And I went, okay, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And but what happened was that my dad couldn't stand the weather. in
Really?
India.
Yeah.
And he was sick and throwing up every day.
Oh.
So my brother was, his book was already over here in London.
I see.
He came in 65.
Uh-huh.
He was here. And my dad decided that, he'll join my brother and stay. What it feels like.
Right.
And when he came and he was well, and he went, you guys can come up. So I had to give up my dream there.
Yeah.
And I had to be in London.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Which was just the right place to be, I guess. Right time, right place.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But we had to give up that dream in India and come here, yeah.
Yeah, so did you feel in a way you were leaving something behind?
Yeah.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
But how soon then, after you'd moved to London, did you start to get the feeling
Right.
that there might be work here?
Right. What happened was I came into London in July 1970. And what happened was in 1973, I picked up a magazine called Time Out for the first time.
Yes.
I
Yes,
think in
Time Out.
August or something like that. And at that time, at the back of the page, was a theatre board for fringe theatre companies.
Yeah.
Advertising. We are looking for this and that.
Yeah.
And I saw an advert of a theatre company called Red Buddha Theatre Company.
Okay.
It's a Japanese theatre company.
Yeah.
And they were looking for, all kinds of people, small, tall, big, fat,
Right.
whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it. Jugglers, mime, clowns, whatever. And go ring them up. And I got my audition. I did the audition.
Right.
And they gave me a recall
Yeah.
after a week or 2 weeks. And I did the recall. And just Yamasta, who owned the company, who started Red Buddha, he went, right, can you become angry? And I'm going, how do I do that? I'm not a trained actor or anything like
Right,
that.
yeah.
And I was, 15, 16.
Really?
Nearly 16,
So
going
young.
to become 17, right?
Yeah.
And what happened was, at the back of the hall, I went back and I started screaming and all that. And I really got into it.
Great.
And I went to his table and started clearing his... and then jumped on the table and kicking everything off and all that. And I think about to hit him or punch him. And he went, okay, right.
Wow.
Right, yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
And I got a call.
I should
And
imagine you
yeah.
did. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
A brave thing to do for a young actor.
Young actor without thinking what
Yeah.
he's doing.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah, fascinating. That's fantastic. Now, earlier on in the week, I had a brief email exchange with your nephew, who I think is your manager, is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I asked him what your first Anderson memory was. So, as we've just learned, you spent your early years in Kenya. But when you got to London, then you obviously were picking something up because this is your first Anderson memory. Let's have a
Yeah.
look at this.
Like a brilliant character.
Yeah, exactly. Timeless, isn't it?
Yeah.
Parker, calling Feb 1. Can you hear me, beloved?
Parker from Fab 1, loud and clear.
I Mr. Grafton is called to see you, beloved.
Very good, Parker. I'm afraid I may be a little late.
Oh, no trouble, I hope, beloved.
Afraid so. I'm being tailed. It may take some time to lose them. Meanwhile, make my excuses to Mr. Croft.
Yes, beloved. And good luck.
There we go. The iconic duo of Parker and Lady Penelope.
That was like a double act.
Absolutely.
And it was a brilliant double act,
Yeah.
the way, you work with them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's completely understandable why
Yeah.
they are so memorable, isn't
Yeah.
it? And sadly, of course, David Graham, who voiced Parker, just
He
died
passed
a couple of
away.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when were you first aware of Gerry Anderson? Can you think back?
I think in 1970,
Yeah.
we were renting a room. And, downstairs in the lounge, there was the people we were renting from, watching their television.
Yeah.
And, so that the first time, I think in 2 or 3 weeks, being
Right.
in London.
Right.
I went, wow,
Yeah.
it was fantastic.
Because
Right.
it's so different probably to
Yeah.
anything you'd seen before with
Yeah.
the puppetry and the models.
Puppetry, in a sense that I haven't seen anything like that.
Yeah.
Puppetry, puppets, but something that
Yeah.
controlled by, what do you call
The
it?
strings.
Strings
That's
and all
right.
that, yeah.
And also, I should imagine it appealed to you, to young Kiran, who was falling in love with film, because they are very filmic. Those episodes are like little
Exactly.
movies, aren't they?
Exactly, and they've got such a good humour.
Yeah, that's
in
right.
it.
Yeah, exactly. So you found yourself in London.
Yeah.
You found yourself on the stage then. Was that a tour that you were...
Yeah, I ended up going out. It was a tour for Italy.
Oh.
It was around, in the winter time.
Yeah.
Around Christmas time as well. Well, we ended up in December in Rome.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. But what happened was, because being 17 or 16, going to turn into 17 in September, and it was like going, there was an actor called Day March, and he turned around to Stonewall, and he went, Kiran is underage, and you will need a permission from his school and everything. And I had no idea about
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And then everything was done, and I had to take a letter from Stomo to my principal and give it to him.
Right.
And my principal was like going, you want to be an actor? And I went, yeah, that's my dream. And he wanted to do this play. Yeah, I wanted to do this
Yeah.
mime, opera, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I went, yeah, I want to do that. And how do you treat that? And I went, public my work experience.
Yeah.
Right? And he went, okay, I'll let you go.
Great.
You're going to miss out on your mock or levels. But when you come back, you'll have to sit on your own
Okay.
and do the mock
Okay.
or levels afterwards.
Okay, which you did, I guess, in the
I
end.
did.
I see.
But I had a really fun time in Italy, a lot of traveling. And it was this, Stomoya Master, in a sense, became quite a big name coming from Japan, and it was a story of a day in the life of Hiroshima and then the bomb.
Wow, right.
So it was all about waking up at 5 o'clock, and me and this other actor, we were setting up the storyline of this early morning, and then after a while, people coming into restaurant and setting all that up and all that.
Right.
So we were kind of narrating the story in mind.
Yeah.
But when I started with Red Buddha, that's when I learned to work with the mask, because Tomo was really interested in that you got something, Kiran. I can't put my finger on that, but you got something. So start learning with other actors about mime, about juggling, about mask, work with the mask and see what happens. And first time he gave me the mask and I'm about to pour it in, he went, no, you can't do that. Put it on the table and study and find things, and took me quite a few days to find, a wrinkle and stuff like that, or a pimple.
How interesting.
And then you start leading from what you see.
Yeah. Now, are you able to crystallise in a few thoughts or sentences what working in a mask is like and how it's different to acting, as it were, without a mask?
Okay, with those masks, you got two-dimensional fixed expression mask, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything more with your body work.
Yeah.
And you study the mask and you can see a big smile and you think, okay, I'm going to use that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do, and inside, I will be adding that,
Yes.
Because you have to go with that. If you don't, then it's going to be
Yes,
nothing.
It's not truthful in a way, that's right.
Because once you find things, apart from the smile, you find little pimple on the nose and you go, okay, 2 things I can work with now. And then 3, 4, you find quite a lot. Once you start studying, and then you still can't put it on, and you have to play with it.
Right.
In your hand and looking at the mask and see that.
Amazing.
And once you work out what the expressions are happening, sadness, anger, whatever, and then in front of the mirror, and you start doing that, and you're watching the mirror, and you go, and then one day you're going, And you start moving with the mask.
Uh-huh.
And once you know exactly what you are doing with the mask now, then you put it on, and then you get into the character. You can double up, you can do anything.
Amazing. So it's a real journey getting
It's
to
a
know that
journey.
character,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, because now we are talking about prosthetic mask.
Yeah.
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 You've been in that.
Yeah.
Right, and you know, prosthetic
Yeah.
mask is like until it goes on your face and they color it properly and everything. That's when you see what's going to happen.
Yes.
Otherwise, you don't know what
No.
it's going to be. Right?
No, that's right.
And so we have to figure out when we are testing the
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah.
And they put the mask on, they color it,
Yeah.
and whatever. And then you start playing before you do a show and tell to a director. And I just give me about 2-3 hours. Play this mask now. You guys can go away. You
Okay.
can go.
Yeah.
And let me be in front of the mirror and I start playing.
Ah, interesting.
I start playing with the mask and see what I can do with it.
Amazing how that early experience has informed much of your career. I know
Yeah.
you haven't just done mask work by any means, but it's certainly formed a large part of your career.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the animatronic masks that have the moving eyes and do they take away something from the power of the actor to perform? Do you
No,
think?
again, it's a simple thing. Before you put the mask on, with the puppeteer,
Yeah.
you ask him, right, set that up on my head cast.
Yeah.
Now let's see what the expressions are going to be.
Yeah.
Because he will start playing
Yeah.
and he'll give you all the expressions the mask can go through.
Yeah.
Once you read the script and you know what your character is going to do,
Yeah.
then you think, okay, I can use that, I can use that.
Yeah.
And go every day when you're going to go through a setup. I talk with my puppeteer. I go, okay, this is what I want.
Okay, yeah.
This is the dialogue.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to go.
Yeah.
And this is the expression I think we will go for.
Yeah.
And we start working, and then we start rehearsing and get it right and sync everything together.
Amazing.
And once you sync everything together, then you can work together really well. Just in this person, you can give me the body language.
Yeah.
Using your hands,
Yeah.
using your body,
Yeah.
and you can. That's what you're going to do for anatomic mask.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to use your face,
That's
but
right.
inside, you're still
You're
playing
still
with
doing
your
it.
face to do that.
Extraordinary. That's amazing. So you're known for playing many strange and wonderful creatures. But there's one particular role that I always shout at the TV whenever I see you, when they show this particular film over Christmas usually. And I say, it's Kiran Shah! And it's one of your earlier jobs. It's Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah.
So let's have a little look at this.
Bring back memories.
The dates.
I can't figure out how Bellick did it. Where do you get a copy of the headpiece? There are no pictures, no duplicates of it anywhere.
I tell you only what I saw with my own eyes. A headpiece like that one, except round the edges, which were rougher. In the center, the Frenchman had invented a crystal, and surrounding the crystal, on one side, there were raised markings, just like that one.
Kiran Shah. I mean, if I had just done that one scene in that one movie, I think I'd be a very happy man and not worry too much about whatever happened in the rest of my life. Extraordinary. How old were you there? Gosh, 80s, I think?
It came out in 1981, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I filmed it in 1980.
Right.
And I was working on Dark Crystal at the same time. We were rehearsing. I started on Dark Crystal in 79, middle of 79,
Yeah.
with Tim Henson and
Yeah.
Frank Oz. And then started working with other puppeteers as well, but not full time.
I see.
And still in 1980, I wasn't full time.
Ah.
There were like days when I wasn't needed,
Right.
and all that
Yeah.
on the Crystal.
Yeah.
And one day, I got a call from my agent at that time. You're going to go to Ulster Studios, the Steven Spielberg for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
We didn't
Which
know
no one
anything
knew.
of-
No.
No one knew anything about it. So I went in there and I got on the sound stage where I was supposed to be. And the first AD and second AD came, Kiran, in the corner. No, before you go to say, Stephen.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, that's fine. And I went, if Stephen asks you, has your face been seen on the screen? Just say no.
Uh-huh.
And my face had been seen
Ah.
on one movie at
Okay.
that time, on People That I Forgot.
Okay.
And I went, but, and he went, don't mention that, mention about Superman.
Okay, yes, of course.
Talk
Which
about
we also need to talk
Superman,
about, yes.
And go, I did. And go, when I did that. And I got the part.
Ah, amazing.
And he was looking for a Pacific unknown, completely unknown
Yes,
actor for
I
that.
see. Yeah, it's a lovely, it's an iconic
Yeah.
scene, that one with the
Very,
dates and the
very.
monkey. Yeah, it's lovely. You mentioned it there. We must talk about Superman, of course. Superman 1 and 2, I think.
I did, well, mostly number one.
Yeah.
Because I ended up working on Superman as this stunt flying double
Okay.
to make him look in the distance.
Aha.
In other words, scale work.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
To
Okay.
make him look smaller
Yeah.
in the distance.
Uh,
So, yeah.
And I read a lovely story about both you and Christopher Reeve. Christopher Reeve stealing a cigarette from you, and you both going and he was 6 foot something, wasn't
Yeah, and big and
And there you both
crumpled
are.
up, yeah. Started smoking, we did that.
You got to know him, I guess,
Yeah, I
to some
got to know
degree.
him quite well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun to work with
Yeah.
him. And it was really great.
Yeah.
To work with him. He was really good about that. Paul Weston was coordinating the flying unit.
Uh-huh.
I never done wire work before.
Right, yeah.
Paul and the stunt team and the riggers, our wire riggers, went, okay, this is how we work with the wires. They taught me everything.
Yeah, amazing. So learning on the job, really.
Stunts-wise, I've done that. Learn everything on the job. Everything, fencing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't swim, but I can still do scuba
Yeah.
in the water,
Yeah.
water tank and stuff like that.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, we have some questions here from our viewers and listeners. So, can I ask you a few from the box? This is our Space 1999 lunchbox.
Right, oh, that's
there you
nice.
go. Yeah, that's right. So, I'll take a few out of here, and then we'll have some more next week. All right. So, we have Gary Hodgkinson, who says, hi, Kiran, which franchise has been your favourite to be in? So, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings that we'll talk about as well.
I cannot really separate any of the franchise like that. Because every franchise I worked on, I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah.
It's been, different thing,
Yeah.
different looks and whatever. But I really enjoyed working on all of the franchises I've done.
Yeah.
I think I've done about 7 franchises.
Incredible.
Yeah.
What is it you love about your work in particular, do you think?
Because, if I was going to be a straight actor with my own face, it would be Kiran Shah. Right? But with this anatomic mask.
You could be anything.
Prosthetic, I
yeah.
can be anything.
I see.
And especially, being monsters and creatures and,
Yeah.
little kids or whatever. But
Yeah.
I have enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, next week we'll take a look at a trailer for a new film in which you are Kiran Shah.
Thank you.
And not in a mask. Paul Hyder says, hi, Kiran. Many congratulations on your MBE. Well deserved. What did it mean to you to be recognised in this way?
Well, funny thing is, I never thought I would get something like that anyway. You never even think about it.
Sure.
And suddenly you get a letter out of a blue.
Yeah.
And you go, me?
Yeah.
And you go, no, it's wrong. And you read it again. And you go,
Incredible.
it's wrong. And then you get excited.
Yeah.
And then you think, why?
Have they made a mistake?
Yeah, but then you read the letter properly. It says for the services for the film industry.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah.
I've been recognized for what I've done in the industry.
Absolutely.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah, so well deserved as well.
And the funny thing is, when I read it, I was upstairs in my bedroom. And then within 5 minutes, I went downstairs to my brother and went, look what we got. I got MBE. And he was like, what?
Yeah.
And he read it about a few times as well.
Incredible. What's it going to look like? I mean, I guess you get a ribbon with
A ribbon with a
medal of some
yeah.
sort, yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I'm going to go in November.
Yeah, fantastic. Steve Bushell says, hi, Kiran, a legendary actor who is obviously well regarded by the industry. What a joyful career as well. Do you enjoy the anonymity that wearing costumes has given you?
Yeah.
Interesting,
Because I
isn't
can
it?
walk around the streets.
Yeah,
I can be me.
yeah,
And it's fun.
yeah.
Knowing that I've done so much work, and yet there are very few people
Yeah.
who knows me.
Yeah.
I mean, I do get surrounded now and
Yes,
now
of
and
course.
then,
I'm sure you do.
but
Yeah.
a lot of the time it's like, okay,
Yeah.
me, and I
And-
can walk around.
Yeah, incredible. And continuing to work as
Yeah.
well. That's the
Yeah.
inspiring thing. So how
I'm
long has
still
your
working.
career been now?
I started in 1976.
Okay.
Going, what, nearly
That's
50
it.
years.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not bad going, is it?
No.
Let's have a quick look, as we're on the Gerry Anderson podcast, of some of your work from Space Precinct.
Hmm.
This is you as the daughter of one of the regular
Yeah,
aliens.
what was the name of the character?
Estes, I think.
Estes.
Do you remember?
Yeah, Estes, yeah.
And
Because-
she's being plagued by nightmares, as we'll
Yeah.
see.
Honey, what's the matter?
It's okay, sweetheart. It's just another bad dream.
Mommy and Daddy would never let anything bad happen to you.
So, you know, there's nothing to be afraid of.
Well, very dramatic.
That was, I mean, it was funny because, again, there was no audition, no interview for this character.
Sure.
Yeah.
Does that happen a lot for you?
Yeah, quite a lot because
Yeah.
the workshop people,
Yeah.
they put my name in.
Absolutely.
And we got this guy, you can do it.
Yeah.
I go, yeah.
So a lot of us who've worked in masks, to a greater extent than others, we go through that life cast process
Yeah.
where they make a mould of our
Yeah.
head, essentially. Do you have to go through that continually, or do you have your own head
No,
somewhere?
no, I haven't. I mean, your face changes over the years.
True.
It could be done again and again and
Yes.
again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to go through it, but I love that.
Yeah.
Because one thing is like, I'm getting a beauty treatment. You know, when you come out of it,
It
your
does feel like
skin
that.
it go
Yeah.
silky and stuff like that.
That's right. But a lot of people find that very difficult, that whole process. It can be quite claustrophobic.
The first time I did it for the Superman, and they put the straws in
Oh, yeah.
on my nose. And I went, after a while, can we get that off? And
Yeah.
they went, but how will you breathe? And then the makeup guy went, yeah, we'll give you a little hole so you can breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
And it worked that way. And
Yeah.
since then, I've done it that way.
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, probably thousands of times, I would think.
And now, you get 3D scanned.
Yeah, right.
Now,
Of course.
That doesn't happen anymore.
Oh, God, that's amazing, isn't it? How
Yeah.
things have changed. Wow.
Yeah.
Can I call you MBE before the ceremony, do you think?
Yeah, you can.
I guess I can.
mean, you can. Once my name came out,
Yeah.
I can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And will you use it on your note paper? And
Yeah,
your...
I am now.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Quite very well deserved too. So you joined us last week to talk about your early years in Kenya, moving to London, and making your way first in the world of theatre, and then taking steps into the world of film, which was your first love. Really, would you say?
Yeah, exactly.
What was it about those early films that captivated you so much that you saw as a youngster then?
Actually, if you think about the Saturday matinees, you know, those creatures being made.
Yeah.
And they are wobbly and stuff like that, and you laugh at that and all that. But, you know, that was all fun.
Yeah.
And then looking at the actors, and you think, maybe I can do this.
Yeah.
It would be fun to do something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the amazing thing is you told a story last week about the teacher at school, your headmaster, I think you said, who said, well, yes, you can do that, but then you've got to come back and sit your mom. Yeah. No one kind of stood in your way, it seems.
Nobody did. I mean, my family was easygoing, and they were like going, okay, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Yes, my brother went, I'll give, once I left the school in 74, I left the school without telling the family though. And that was not a good move. But when they found out, I had to, because I was in another theatre called The Reflection, and the director was Peter Snow. He was the head of the art department for Sledge School of Art.
Oh, yes.
And he used to be backdrop painter for opera.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Wow.
And working on his play, he ran out of the money.
Yeah.
So, you know, I had to tell my parents, look, I left the school, and I'm going to rehearsals. And that was bad.
Right, really?
But then, but once they came to understand that I want to do this and all that.
Yes.
And they went, okay, right, my brother went, I'll give you about 3 years.
3 years.
And if you can make it in 3 years, great.
Well, you made it and then some, didn't you?
Yeah,
That's the
and
thing.
within an year I made it.
Yeah, incredible. Amazing. So there you are in the early stages of your career, zooming through, it seems, theatre and film credits, and Superman and Raiders of the Lost Ark. We come to the 90s now, and you get the call from Gerry Anderson, or at least someone from the Space Precinct production office, to come and spend a few weeks with us at Pinewood. And got a little clip here, a sort of a montage of 2 of your other roles that you played. I wonder if you remember either of these. Let's have a look.
I remember what I did, but I can't remember their names.
Of course. Let's have a look.
It's not fair, Mom.
Life's not fair. You shouldn't be out there anyway. Pay out the bag. You're bothering the customers.
You're about to witness an experiment conducted under my supervision. This is Senna M., the subject of the experiment. Senna was born without the complete fingers of the right hand. The experiment involved the application of a drug we developed. We hoped it would stimulate cell regeneration.
Did it work?
Just watch.
What a strange job we have, Kiran.
Yeah, exactly. And do you remember Peter O'Farrell?
Yes.
He was their brother.
Amazing.
I worked with him on Legend.
Right.
Yeah.
Incredible. So you've worked with so many names. You mentioned Jim Henson last time on The Dark Crystal, Gerry Anderson, of course, and Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm really interested about your experience working on The Lord of the Rings. I know you played many roles, but I think you doubled for Frodo, is that right, for Elijah Wood?
Well, I mean, my job was, I had a meeting with Peter. Peter was asking for little people to be skill doubles because they are basically, he couldn't find people like me to give them the characters.
Yeah.
You know, he needed about 5 minimum.
Yeah.
And then more later on.
Uh-huh.
So, we decided to go with normalized actors and then use the skill doubles.
I see.
And there were different techniques that we went through. And when I had a meeting, even just what you are going to do for Frodo. And you, do you think you can get really how far you can go with this character, how far can you make it look like that is Elijah and not somebody else. Now when look doing what I've been doing, I can only promise about 50% if we can get there. At the most 70, I'll be happy. And even I'll be happy as well. And then we talked more and did that, and then I ended up working with him.
Amazing.
And it was really brilliant thing to do. But what happened was, because I had a team who never done anything like that, it was difficult to train them in the time given. And what happened was, one guy did just a role, and he started throwing up all night. And I had to, next morning, I had to go to Peter and look, I can't use my team to do stunts anymore. Because if this happens, then not going to work. And Barry, the producer, and Peter at the meeting, they came out and they went, okay, Kiran, meeting with you now, 5 minutes up here. Good news, bad news. Good news, you're going to do all 5 of them.
Right. Wow.
Bad news, you will let you study all of them.
Yes. Wow. Extraordinary.
Yes, but the extraordinary thing was that I still had the team. Whoever was leading the scene in scale, I had to get into that character. So I was basically running the show that way.
So I guess you had to study the actors, their mannerisms and rhythms.
The rhythms.
Because you have to be utterly convincing, don't you?
Exactly. Because then the technique we worked out between Peter and myself was talk to actor before you do anything. Look at the monitor, what they are doing, and study really well of what you are looking at for your character. And then go and talk to Elijah or Sean or Billy or Dominic. Ian Holmes, I worked with him on Greystock. I knew a little bit of Paris Walk and all that. He wasn't there at the beginning. I knew exactly where the limp is and all that. And I did that for Ian Holmes, Bilbo. And with Elijah and all of them, it was really fun working with them, talking to them and going, how do you feel, when you were doing this? And you were really sad, what were you thinking,
Incredible.
What's going on in your mind?
So did this involve you sort of moving to New Zealand for a good chunk of the year?
Year and a half, I think, or year and a half.
Right.
I never came back to London.
Right.
Then we did all 3 movies back to back.
I see.
And then for number 1, I had to go back in 2001, I think, and do the pickups. I came back within a couple of weeks. And I go home and the phone rings straight away, or more or less straight away. And it's Barry Osborne. Next Saturday, get on a plane and you're back in New Zealand. And I had to get back to New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
They kept me there till, I think, August, September, something like that.
And how was New Zealand? Is it an interesting...
It was really fun, but it was like making a movie all over again.
Yes.
And then that happened for all 3 movies. 4 years of my life.
God.
Basically there.
Incredible. Yeah, amazing. Now, just like last week, we have some questions from our viewers and listeners. So let's take the last of these out of the lunchbox. Right.
Same lunchbox.
That's right. Okay, so we've got Ben Page here who says, Ben, we know, of course, you're one of a handful of performers who worked on both Gerry Anderson and Jim Henson productions. Did you get to see any differences between the 2 puppet producers in how they ran their business?
Yeah, the difference is Jim Henson is more with the hand puppets.
Yes.
Right. Gerry Anderson is more with
The string puppets,
string
that's
puppets
right.
and all that. So the difference is that the people, for Gerry, the people are at the top and
Yeah.
working that.
Yeah.
With him, it's like he's physically doing that.
Yes.
Right?
That's
So
right.
That would go major difference
Yeah.
to begin with.
Yeah.
To work with Gerry, I wasn't really copying any. I was not double for anybody. I was
Yeah.
playing my own character.
That's right.
On Dark Crystal with Jim and Frank Oz, I was doubling their puppets.
I see.
To make them walk
Yeah.
in the white sword, so
Yeah.
you can see the whole
That's right.
body and legs and
Yeah.
everything. And in the mid-sword as well, quite a lot of mid-sword
Yeah.
as well. I ended up doing that. That meant I had to study again the where the puppet is going to be.
Right, of course.
And go into that.
Yeah,
And
interesting.
with stakes for Frank, playing a trampoline for him.
Yeah.
And we spoke about how the skates are going to move. And the first question came from Jim. When I first had the interview with him, and there was a skull of Walter looking like skull of fiberglass, right? Now they made it, and it was on the table, and they went, "What do you think of that?"
Yeah.
What was emerging in your mind? And I
Yeah.
went, "Walter," and you go, "Okay, how will that move?" And I started moving like a Walter
Okay.
on the ground.
Yeah.
They hop, they don't walk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure, that's right.
The Walter, they hop. They
Yes.
don't- And I've seen the documentaries go out. That kept me mad in my
isn't it?
mind, and I started hopping and
Wow.
started doing that. And they went, "Okay, cut the hop. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Just get this moment."
I see, yeah.
And then we are on the same page now.
Yeah.
Completely. And go, we started doing that.
Yeah.
And then I think they realized that this little guy can do quite a lot of characters.
Yeah.
And it will be very useful if we can keep him with us quite a lot.
Absolutely, yeah.
I ended up doing a lot of stuff with Jim Henson in that.
Amazing. It seems like you use your imagination a lot as an actor. You said that you'd seen documentaries of vultures and you kind of were able to pull that out and use that in this moment.
Yeah.
So do you spend a lot of your time observing and looking at creatures?
My advice to anybody who wants to be an actor, even straight actor, you don't have to be creatures or anything. My advice is people watch all the time.
Right.
Don't pick up a paper in the underground
Yeah.
and read. Just look around you and
Yeah.
what's happening, what people doing.
Yeah.
And you can pick up characters from
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you've been to drama school.
Yeah. Many years ago, yes.
Yeah, many years ago. And did you learn about animal work?
Yes, we spent a day at the zoo and all that.
Yeah,
Yes, that's
but
right.
how long did you study that?
We probably had one term on it, and it wasn't a full time. A day a week for a term, I would say.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So what happens is, with me, is that you have to study animals.
Yeah.
And the best guy I found to work with was Peter Elliott.
Peter Elliott, the famous Peter Elliott.
Famous Peter Elliott.
Yeah.
And when I worked with him in Greystoke, and we drilled together really well.
yeah.
And he taught me a lot.
Yeah.
With Stormway Master, going back to, my first thing.
Yeah.
And even watch documentary, especially animal documentaries.
Yeah.
Watch them, learn,
Yeah.
see how they move, how
Yeah.
lion moves, whatever.
Yeah.
Any animal, and study that.
Yeah.
And you can use that in your mask.
Yes. Amazing. Great. We have a question here from Jake F. Grave, who says, "Hi, Kiran. Is it true that you portrayed the droid having its feet burned in Return of the Jedi? There's some sources that say it was you, but some other sources say it was actress Carol Reed. Are you able to clarify?"
It was me.
It was you,
It was
definitively.
me, yeah. What's the name? E.J. something 6 or
Right,
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Ah.
And I did that.
Great.
I was in that donk droid, I think they call it.
Yeah.
And it was upside down. I had to be upside down.
I see.
I was in the harness.
Yes.
Go to make sure I don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
And just tangle the leg and
Yeah.
start doing that with the legs.
It's quite a brief moment, but how long would a sequence like that take to shoot?
I was there for quite a long time.
Extraordinary.
It didn't happen like that.
No.
I mean, we spent about a couple of hours or
Yeah,
more on that.
Yeah.
And we had to do take after text as well.
That's right, I'm sure. Nikki Cousins says, you're in the best film of all time, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Do you live the life of a movie star, or do you consider yourself down to earth?
I think I consider myself down to earth because one thing, my family will not let me behave like a star. In fact,
even with the MBE?
Even with the MBE, still come down and do that.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps that's just as well. And finally, John Stock says, hi, Kiran. Thanks for appearing on the podcast. What was your most difficult or dangerous stunt or part to play?
Movie called Madeline.
Mm-hmm.
A story about a girl in Paris in orphanage.
Mm-hmm.
And she jumps off the bridge.
Right.
Or falls off the bridge.
Yeah.
And I did that. And when I wrecked the bridge near Nottingham, that cathedral.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was the bridge near that. And I did the recce and I found out it was going to be muddy, because good. It's not concrete. Because if anything, you'll get stuck, but nothing else.
Yeah, right.
And there were a lot of rubbish there, trolleys and everything.
Yeah.
And I went on the day, all that had to come out.
Yeah.
And did the recce, measured the height on the recce, and it was about 27 feet from the top of the bridge. When I did, on the day when I did the jump, the tide went on and it turned into 30 feet, 31 feet, something like that.
God, right. Yeah, of course. Wow. I don't know. How do you find the courage? You've just got to get it done, haven't you?
Get it done. When I go up there and I try not to look down, but you have to look down because you need to know where you are going to land, where you need to hit the water or where you are going to land on the airbag or something like that. Because you need to, work it out.
Yeah.
And the other thing you need to work out, how much of a kick I'm going to give.
Yeah.
If you kick too hard, you're going to miss your airbag.
I see.
So you need to, work everything out.
Yeah.
And that was dangerous in the sense that I can't swim, but I had a wetsuit because I knew anything that happens, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And I asked for 2 police divers or marine divers on the bank, spotting me.
Yeah.
One on the board of the camera, spotting me. He's the lead one.
Yeah.
He's talking to all of them, and 2 under the water.
Right.
Because if I go unconscious or anything in the water, they'd come and pull me up.
Terrifying.
Straight away,
Terrifying.
Because that was first time I had to do the recce.
Yeah.
And then the stunt coordinator, French stunt coordinator went, Kiran, you've done well.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you were doing with that. Yeah.
Amazing. Incredible. We've got a little clip of a stunt here from, I think, the Muppet Caper. I think this is you on a bike as Miss Piggy. Let's have a look at this, and perhaps you can see if you can talk us through this afterwards.
Hey! Hey, you! Hey! What an unbelievable coincidence! I'm coming for me! You want excitement?
There you go.
Right.
So, I mean, you've got such a wide skills base, haven't you? You can ride a bike, obviously, ride stunts on a bike. Is this again, I think we spoke last week about learning on the job. Is this where all this comes from?
Everything is learning on the job. On this one, there were 2 of us who did that because it was really fun.
Yeah.
And I did a little bit of that, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And it's like learning. I learn everything. Everything I learn in the stunts is on the job.
Yeah.
I had a yellow judo belt on Korea to the world. When I was in the school, I knew about my breakfalls and
yes.
back. I knew
I
that.
see.
And once Bob Anderson, who spotted me on my first movie, Candlestick.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And he came round to me and when you look like the girl
Uh-huh.
with your wig and a frog from the back.
Yeah.
Would you like to do the stunts? And I went, okay. And
Brilliant.
from there, it was that. And stunt people were willing to teach me.
Yeah.
People like Greg Paul, Denny Paul, Paul Weston, Vic Armstrong.
Incredible.
A lot of them really taught me a lot of stuff.
Have you ever said no to a stunt? Have you ever said no?
No.
That's
no,
too much.
Now I am.
Yeah.
For what, last 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
It's like going, I don't want to get hurt
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, been there and done that.
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. Well, just before we say goodbye, I'd like to take a look at something you have coming out, I think, next year.
Hopefully.
And then we'll have a brief chat about that. This is called States of Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have a look.
Can't believe you talked me into doing this whole psychic survivor thing.
Hey, you're the meditation junkie. I just need the cash.
Hi.
We're gonna...
You're gonna die here. I'm sorry. I've always wanted to say that.
I'm glad you are all here fighting it out.
Don't know what to tell you guys, but I read minds. We do readings, sell crystals, incense, all that shit.
I implore you to give each task full attention.
Reach out beyond you.
Why are you here?
You said you'd pay us to be part of a study.
But what are you? Who is you?
I'm my consciousness.
Now meditate. If I boost these signals, you can reach out beyond your own senses. Our mind lives all around us.
You boosted our signal.
But there are entities in this place. You must all stay within the circle or you'll be vulnerable.
That's as much as I dare show of that trailer.
Right.
But what a lovely part for you, Kiran.
It was. I mean, it has been really good to work with Tree Becker.
Yeah.
He wrote the script for me, I think, Me in the Mind, and I get the script for me.
Amazing.
And I said, yes, I want to do this.
Yeah, I'm sure. An interesting experience. Was it a relief not to be in a mask or a suit of some sort and to be yourself?
Yeah.
Or was it difficult?
No, it was good.
Yeah.
But then you're going to see a lot of things.
Yeah. Great. Okay, but we'll leave that there. That's something to look forward to next year. In the meantime, Kiran Shah, it's been so nice to have you on the podcast. Really appreciate you joining us.
It's been my pleasure to be here.
Thank you. See you again. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.